Welcome to the podcast. That was super quick. Hold on. I got to give you a minute to breathe. Hi. Welcome back to the podcast. Anyways, it hasn't been a while. It's been 2 weeks like we normally do. Welcome back to those who are listening and welcome to those who are just discovering us. We have a wonderful podcast for you today. We've got multiple topics to talk about. We're going to try and alter the platform a little bit. Normally we talk about like one thing for an hour, and now we're going to try and add a couple more things in to see how that breaks it up. So with that being said, the first one I want to talk about is anime. And this is the reason, wow, I'm overexposed. For those who are listening, I'm on video and it's very bright. But anyways, anime. The reason I want to bring this up is because I am deeply involved in multiple anime TV shows right now. And there's also major, not box office, but major sort of buzz around very specific animes right now. For those who are aware or participate in anime culture and content, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, One Piece, and so on. Before I keep going, I'm going to explain what anime is because Grandpa over here is not an anime watcher. And additionally,
I saw is Pikachu anime?
Pokemon is considered anime, but
Is Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball is considered an anime. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So
think of Goku. Think
of Goku.
Yeah, he's the done by the same one who did Dragon Ball. The creator was Akira Tori, I think.
I don't know that one. You may be looking up stuff that you may be looking up different animes that I don't know.
I got the wrong creator. Okay.
Oh, no, you may have the right creator. I don't know the creator well enough.
No, I got the wrong creator. I only know that and Ant-Man Man and Doraemon, which is the most Doraemon is the most popular cartoon in Japan. So I'll leave the rest to you.
Doraemon.
Yeah, an Astro Boy.
Doraemon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Doraemon, for those who I forgot about this. Doraemon's the blue cat with the thing on his head, the little
right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So before we keep going, I want to separate the understanding of what anime is. Anime is the difference between anime and a cartoon. Cartoons tend to be similar to reality TV in that they're meant to make you laugh and they're meant to be fun. And they're meant to be more childish or insinuating things. Like Bugs Bunny is a cartoon that insinuated sexual content or adult content. Anime tends to focus on life issues and deeper topics while being more emotional as well as violent. So that's sort of the distinction between a cartoon and an anime. Simultaneously, there are animes that are not super violent, but by that category, animes tend to be more violent. So for example, most Disney cartoons, you're not going to see creatures fighting and passing out in the Pokemon universe. So Pokemon is considered an anime. So is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball Z, Demon Slayer, One Piece, Attack on Titan, those are all animes. The reason I wanted to talk about anime is because as someone who watches anime a lot and has been keeping up with the recent Attack on Titan episodes, which as we're recording this, which is Sunday, there's a new episode out and I'm going to have to watch it tonight when I get back. So, and like, I'm already excited about it. I'm excited about watching it. I see anime is already on its way and sort of taking over a lot of people's content right now, but I see it furthering them. Recently, we had the movie Demon Slayer Mugen Train. Mugen Train? Mugen Train. Mugen Train. That movie is now currently the highest grossing animated film ever in the world. It beat out Spirited Away, which was previously the most for like a decade or something like that, or something close to that. Demon Slayer Mugen Train hit $500 million, $500 million in box office. That's not like overall. Mind you, it just came out. Give it 2, 3, 4 years, we'll see how much money it makes. Additionally, the season 2 TV show for Demon Slayer, and that came after the movie just finished, again broke record numbers. And same thing with Attack on Titan. So Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer is about a bunch of samurais fighting demons. Attack on Titan is a more complex story that involves people on an island, and there's these super tall, gigantic creatures that were attacking them in their fenced off castle. They've got walls that are hundreds of feet high, and it prevents these super like tall creature things from coming in. And it's a whole story. Recently, one of the Attack on Titan episodes, was it Attack on Titan or was it Demon Slayer? I believe it was Attack on Titan. It was funny. No, I think it was Demon Slayer. It might have been Attack on Titan, but I'm going to go with Demon Slayer. During the most recent Olympics, there were more people watching the newest and final episode of Demon Slayer than there were watching the Olympics. And that's something for me that signals this is really, really doing work. And it shows that it's not just like middle schoolers and early high schoolers that are nerdy about anime now. We're getting adults, we're getting kids, and we're getting the entire organization of people to go after it. Go after it in the sense of like they're enjoying participating in it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of inspired about anime because I love it and I've been watching it for years. And some people like to gatekeep and go, oh, I used to be a nerd for watching it. Now everyone thinks it's cool. That's great. That means it's going to get more funding and we get better shows like Demon Slayer that are high quality, beautiful stories that are amazing.
Netflix, if you go to Netflix and you look up anime, it has a whole group of movies.
Yeah. So on Netflix, and here's the difficult part when it comes to stuff like Netflix. As of right now, the best place to get your anime in terms of, and for separation, for those who don't know, there's the comic book type style that they have, that they write, and then it gets turned into an anime. That's called manga. That's the comic books that are then turned into full-blown TV shows. With that being said, Netflix has some Netflix original animes that are not bad. At the same time, Netflix does lack in the department of some of the popular ones. And what I mean by that is Attack on Titan is on Netflix. But they only have season 1. There are 4 seasons in Attack on Titan. We're nearing the end of the entire story of Attack on Titan. There's like 6 episodes left, 90 episodes, and there's only 25 on Netflix. So, and that's not all of them. There's plenty of animes on Netflix that are fully there or are all there minus some movies, because sometimes animes will break up their TV show by having a season and then having a movie and then having another season, because that movie encapsulates what would basically be another season. And by having a movie, animes like to put movies out because it builds hype up for the TV show. and it puts it in a box office, and that tends to make them a lot of money and exposure that then gives them more money to make the next season. That's why Dragon Ball Z came out with the Broly movie a couple years back. That's why Demon Slayer came out with the Mugen Train movie. You get to see really, really high quality animating in a 2 hour time span.
And then they came out after Dragon Ball, Son of Goku.
Oh, Goku.
Goku.
Goku, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Son of Goku. Dragon Ball is an old TV show. That one's one of the original like old ones. And that's to people who recognize anime, that's considered one of the what we call the OGs, the originals, because it's been around since the beginning. It is massive. It's got so many episodes. Currently, I think the most episodes a TV show has is One Piece. They have 1,000 episodes. 1,000.
Do you want me to mention some of the animes that are on Netflix, or I should?
Go ahead. Yeah, you can list them off.
If I pronounce them correct, Dota, Naruto.
Dota. Yeah, Dota. That's so. Pause real quick. Dota is based off of a game. There's a game called Dota and Dota 2. They made an anime based off that game. Go ahead.
Baki.
Yeah, Baki. That's a good fighting TV show. It's like boxing, but it's kind of bloody.
Naruto.
That's another big one in terms of like very, very popular, very well known. It has like 500 episodes, and it's about ninjas and a ninja world where they use special abilities and things like that.
The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf.
The Witcher is that's another one.
Hunter.
Oh, Hunter. That's
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop is an interesting one. That one has sort of a cult following behind it because it's either Cowboy Bebop is one of those TV shows where either you love it or you hate it, and if you love it, you're part of the cult crew.
Okay, Gonzo.
Oh, Gonzo, yeah.
I'm skipping some because I can't pronounce it.
That's fine.
Pacific Rim the Black.
I don't know that one.
The Legends of the Guild.
Legends of the Guild, okay.
Ultraman.
Okay.
Blood Zeus.
Okay, so that's great. Yeah, we have that's a good set of them. Those are ones that are on Netflix. If you are someone who's seen a lot of those or would like to access some other versions, there's tons of free apps that offer and this is not like I'm not trying to sponsor, I just really like anime and I'm passionate about it. You've got Crunchyroll, Verve, VRV, and Funimation. Those are 3 apps that I know of, or websites that you can go on, make an account, and watch virtually any anime, minus some small ones that might be on very specific platforms. But you can watch them. They have ads like a TV show, but you can obviously pay the premium and have no ads. But nonetheless, you can get, like on Verve, I've been watching Attack on Titan. And on Verve, I've been watching My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer. That's where I've been getting all of my anime content right now. So I threw in another one and I didn't let you know. My Hero Academia, that's another superhero type TV show. I tend to gear myself towards these sort of action and superhero animes just because I like those. There's tons of different ones that are either fighting or non-fighting. Some of them are just sort of story and slice of life type stories. There is a ridiculous amount. One of my top favorites is One Punch Man, which is on Netflix, the first season, and then there's a second season somewhere else. I don't know where it is. It takes all of the cliches and the tropes that are in most superhero content, anime, movies, whatever, and they put it in this TV show and make fun of it. So the TV show is about a guy who one punches everything. He's such a good superhero that he uses one punch to beat things. And he's constantly looking for that one thing that he can fight that doesn't require one punch. He's always like, he punches him out and he goes, why can't I like find someone worth it? So if you're looking for a spoofy, still very good, animated pretty decently, and it's very funny aside from that. That's one that I think I would say that's in my top 3. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, I mean, as also most of the time anime is cut into 24-minute episodes, specifically 24 minutes, because they have a whatever 2-minute intro, 2-minute outro, and then a 20-minute episode. I know I went on an entire rant on anime, but do you have anything on anime that you would like to add? Like, do you think it's cool? Do you not understand?
Oh, well, yeah. No. I think it's cool. And I remember going to the used bookstore and I would see comics there. And I would call you and say, Peter, there are these Japanese comics. I used to say, oh, they're probably worth a lot of money because I could have picked them up for $1 a piece. And that to me was what I thought was anime,
that's manga, yeah.
Yeah, that's manga. And wasn't that much familiar with it other than what I had mentioned, the cartoons that I had seen, because I have 3 young grandchildren. So, I would see that stuff, especially with your brother. So,
well, and
yeah.
and for someone like my brother, I'd say he's still a little young in terms of getting him into certain animes. I think I would like to get him into some animes. I think he would love it, but my mom probably wouldn't be too keen to him watching heads get chopped off at the age of 10.
Yeah.
So we've got to give it a couple of years. And
yeah, I like it because it's colorful. It's creative, and like you said, once you get into it, you get addicted. So
yeah, I mean, and what's fun is a lot of times something that, so I'll finish with this and then we can actually move to the next topic. One of the things I love about anime is not only is it not all the time, but there's very deep stories that run into these things. But there's things that happen in the TV shows, or there's certain emotions that are conveyed through the animation that is not easily done with real actors. So, for example, in One Punch Man, there'll be scenes where it's very, very comical. And then, and the animation style of Saitama, the main character, he looks like an egghead, right? He's got this egg-shaped head. And then all of a sudden, when he goes into like fight mode, he gets a sharp triangular jaw. He's got shading on his forehead that makes him look dramatic. And then all of a sudden it gets very dramatic. And you at first you're like, wow, that was really funny. And then the action starts and you're like, oh, I'm rolling with it. So anime can very quickly pivot from a sad moment to a comical moment just by changing the art style slightly. Additionally, what?
I can make an analogy.
Okay.
Anime to individuals is like sushi. You either like it or don't like it. And if you really like it, like if you really like sushi, I mean, you could keep eating and run up that bill to hundreds of dollars. Anime, if you really like it, you have to have somebody there to tell you, okay, we got to do something else. Get off the screen because you get addicted.
That is true. I do have to admit, there was because I was behind in Demon Slayer season 2 as well as the movie. couple weeks back, I told myself, oh, I'll watch the movie tonight, just today by myself, because I've been trying to watch it, and I'll watch season 2 over the next few days or over the next however many days. I ended up sitting for 5.5 hours. I watched the movie and then the entire season 2 back to back to back with an occasional stop to like go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I understand that.
And
I can see that.
and what's surprising is like that's not me. I don't tend to do that. I'm not a huge person to like binge watch and sit for hours on end like that. I was just encapsulated because Demon Slayer is truly one of my favorite animes that I've ever seen, let alone that I'm currently watching. So I was like, I need it, I need it, I need it. And yeah, it was like 5.5, 6 hours worth of content that I just blitzed through.
Okay, read that name. Say that name again.
Demon Slayer.
And that's on Netflix?
Is it on Netflix? That's a good question. It might
Where
be.
you watch?
The season 1 might be on Netflix.
Okay.
I can tell you in 1 second. Yeah, Demon Slayer season 1 is on Netflix, which is still a lot. That's 24 episodes. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and
So
last thing,
I
oh,
binge
go ahead.
watch, so I binge watch, so I gotta be careful.
Well, that's
Okay.
okay. Anime is the best type of content to binge watch. Um, Last thing I'll say on it, which I think I love a lot as well, is with animated stuff, you can watch it in different languages. Like I prefer it subtitled. I would rather watch it in Japanese with the subtitles at the bottom. Some people like it dubbed with English. They have like whatever, 5 to 6 different languages per thing. What I like about animation is it doesn't take away from the TV show. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if you're watching it in Japanese, you may feel it and you enjoy it more. But if I were to watch it in English, it's just a preference. But it like if I was to dub over a film with real actors and they were speaking in Spanish, but then I put English over, you'll see that their mouths are not moving in that
Yeah.
same way. In animation, because it's not every micro movement, it still makes sense in your head. And that's why I think I like it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like that how it's easily fluid across the languages.
Okay. I think we should move on.
Yeah,
I think that
let's
was
hop over
you.
to the next topic, which is the impending doom that is Ukraine. Um,
Oh,
for those who don't know or have only been slightly paying attention, Russia has been invading Ukraine for what is it? Today's Sunday, technically. When
four,
you're listening to this, it'll be Monday. Um, it is
5 days.
Sunday, the 27th. Yes, 5 days. They've Russia wants to revive the Soviet Union, and part of that plan was to expand. And the first place he wanted was Ukraine. So, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not invading. It's just whatever." And then he invades. Um,
Yeah.
so
You
he
see,
started. Oh, go ahead.
he doesn't consider that he's invading. He feels that he's just taking back what belongs to him.
Well, like all tyrants and dictators and whoever, they're
Yeah.
not going to see it as the issue that it is. They're going to
Yeah.
see it as from a perspective on their end.
Hmm.
But yeah, he started by bombarding them with ground to air missiles and water to air missiles and such. Then he drew troops in, um, and then he drew air support in. Um, And now the most recent update, which occurred, I think it was last night into this morning, is he is threatening nukes. I don't know if you heard that, but he is threatening nukes. Um, and I believe that's because he's losing. um,
He's not losing. There's damage that he never anticipated. I think he's 4,500 Russian troops have been killed, but again, we don't know what is exactly happening and what's being reported. Go on, because I got a very strong opinion about this.
Um, so just to sort of lay a bunch of stuff out for those who are either unaware and want to know more, or already know and just haven't heard this stuff. On top of this whole Russia invading Ukraine, not only were people evacuated, but a lot of people were forced to stay and fight. There's a guy called the Ghost of Kiev who took out tons of Russian air crafts with just one jet. He got shot down, but he ejected and got a new jet, and he's still fighting. Him alone has been doing massive amounts of work. On top of that, Germany recently, I think it was 2 days ago, has offered weapons to Ukraine, massive amounts of weapons.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
after they got him. That's after Peter. They got embarrassed because they said they'd send over helmets.
Yeah, well, I mean, so yeah, Germany said they were going to send over helmets and like some minor gear, and then everyone's like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And so what they did was they said, fine, and they gave them weapons. Additionally, Macron from France has openly, it is understood amongst people throughout the news, and people are listening, that France is sort of getting antsy, and they kind of want to join the fight, and they want to stop Putin before he even gets to them. I have articles off of Reuters, which is France's will. Macron says France will respond without weakness to Russia's act of war on Ukraine. That was Thursday. So we shall see. But Germany gave supplies. France is threatening to join the fight. The US, the EU, and the UK put sanctions up, which means absolutely dick. If anything,
I don't agree. I don't agree with you, but you keep talking.
What I mean by that is, yeah, obviously the sanctions block certain things, but what they're doing is perpetuating and furthering this war, because you're going to just make Russia more desperate, and they're just going to push further. So they're activating a situation. And then the last thing that I have is that we've been put on nuke alert because Putin has been discussing possible nukes.
We have been put on nuke alert.
No,
United
not
States?
well. There is apparently a like map of where he would bomb if he hit New York, the U.S. But it's like the entire. He's got like 30 spots on the U.S. So realistically, it doesn't. But he's got apparently. I haven't done enough research to say if that is 100%. From what I've seen on social media, which is not reliable, I'm saying that right now, there is apparently a map of his hit spots. And I think like Boston's the first one. For whatever reason, Boston's like the number one, and then New York. But yeah, so we're not on nuke alert in the sense of like, oh, we're gonna get hit, but like he's discussing nukes, and it's in the conversation. Versus 4 days ago, it wasn't. It was just invading Ukraine. So, yeah, this is. I mean, I I'm not. I do not. It. I am not someone to entertain. Oh, World War III is coming. It's the end of the world. No, I'm not going to say that. And I'm also not going to say that it's not going to happen. I'm just taking it where it's at right now. If it progresses, fine. If it doesn't, fine. But I'm not going to go either way, because I'm not going to create the expectation. At the same time, this is progressing at a rate that is something to pay attention to. This is major history, but the past 5 years have been major history.
Let me intercede. We learned from history, okay? First of all, this reminds me of when Russia took over Hungary. Same thing happened. They went in with troops, They took over Hungary. But my opinion on Putin is that he's a little man with a little dick who concerns himself with how he looks with his Botox shots and his rubbery face and his sitting on horses with his shirt off. I think, in my opinion, I once read that he was ill. He's 69 years of age. I think he wants to leave himself a legacy because basically Russia was, broken down. He wants to recreate, in Eastern Europe again. And I think he wants to do it before he passes away. And so he has a legacy. And the problem is that history can repeat itself. World War II started this way with Hitler. He started to take off one country at a time. Hitler used the Jews as a statement, as one of his statements, we got to get rid of them. Putin said that he's going in there because he wants to get rid of Nazism. He said there was Nazism in the country. He even accused the president of being a Nazi, and the president's Jewish.
I was going to say the president's Jewish. He had family members who fought in World War II. Yeah, he's the exact opposite.
Yeah. So I want to address the situation. It's a terrible situation. Finally, Germany's coming in. The NATO nations have to come in a bit and help, but they're all afraid of expanding this thing. But sooner or later, the NATO nations are going to have to come in, whether it's putting more and more troops on their borders or sending troops. I think everybody's trying to avoid a World War III. Us sending a few thousand troops over to Europe doesn't mean anything when the Russians had 190,000 troops there. I think we're doing the sanctions to cut them off economically. It won't work immediately, but it can work in the long run. So I agree with you, but it can destroy the Russian economy further than it is now. It's really bad as it is. I think Russia's in there. They want to take over and have control of the pipeline, and there's a lot of underhanded things. Russia, I think, has taken over the press. They've taken over social media there. So you don't know from a Russian standpoint what's being reported, even from you'll see our own reporters coming on CNN or NBC or Fox that are stationed there. And it's going to be more and more difficult as Russia takes over more and more ground for them to get the information out as to what they see. And certainly in Russia, where they've been having riots, it's going to be difficult to report on it because everybody's getting arrested who riots, much like what occurred in the United States.
Right.
But more so there.
Right.
Yeah. So I think in the next, I'm not a general or anything, but I think in the next week, we'll have either a solution to the problem or a very, very, very big problem.
We'll have a direction. We'll have a direction,
Yeah.
whatever that direction may be. I agree with you. I think by next weekend, we will have some. I'm not going to say it's factual. I'm guessing that we will have some form of a direction as to where this is going. If it's going to go downhill or if it's going to resolve.
Yeah, I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor, but I don't know if it's true. But I heard a rumor that former President Trump and his sons are going to get in planes and bring in about 30,000 of his followers to fight for the Russians. Was it the Russians or I'm not
Probably the
sure.
Russians. Probably the
Yeah,
Russians, because Trump apparently went on Fox and blamed Biden for Russia invading Ukraine. It was like the first 2 days when this happened, Trump went on Fox and blamed Biden somehow for Ukraine's invasion. It made no sense at all.
yeah,
Um,
and uh, he said that the Russian leader was very creative.
yeah,
He
he said
always,
he was
uh,
creative.
yeah. I still say that there is some kind of attachment between the Russian leader and I don't even want to mention the Russian leader's name, but it makes me
Like
sick.
Lord Voldemort, he who
Yeah,
shall not be named.
yeah. And Trump, who knows how much money Trump owes him because
I know.
he's
I
socked
know.
away, hidden so much money in case he has to run out of the country. Not Trump, but you know, the
Yeah.
Russian
Well,
leader. Yeah,
and so to bring back that one thing that you said, like, news outlets are struggling to get news out because they're being killed, right? Or they're
yeah,
being like they're targeted just as much. Um, which personally is why this is, as someone who's a communications major from college, this is one of the reasons why I love social media, because we are documenting so much history in ways that we never would have been able to document it previously. There are videos. I showed my mom one this morning. A missile from Russia hit the pavement and didn't explode. And there's a guy taking a video of it. He's 10 feet away. Now, when they do that, there's like a 90% chance that they don't explode. Apparently, if they hit and don't explode, that means something's wrong and that they usually won't explode. But he's taking a video of them taking it out of the pavement. I mean, it, like, documentation of what's going on is hitting social media in crazy angles, um, in ways that sometimes are fake and sometimes are scripted and sometimes are making other people that shouldn't be bad look bad. At the same time, we are just getting so much documentation that in ways that we never would have prior. Additionally, for anyone looking to do more research on this or would like reliable news sources, neutral as best as they can, neutral and reliable news sources, NPR, PBS, Reuters, and Associated Press. Those are four news outlets that I can attest to, that my professors can attest to, and that from time and time again that I've read from is the most neutral news reporting in terms of articles. Obviously, articles will attempt to sensationalize, but I find that Associated Press, specifically Associated Press, that's the one I use the most, uh, tends to be very neutral and tries to not sensationalize it as best they can. Because if you sensationalize it, you try to pick a side. So they tend to push the facts as neutral as they possibly can. So those four, NPR, PBS, Reuters, and Associated Press, those are the four I would recommend everyone and anyone to use, to keep up to date with any and all news. Um, that's what I used for my radio show as an assistant news director. That's what I had to use. That's what all the journalism kids use at my college. So highly, highly, highly
yeah,
recommend. Um,
yeah. You
yeah.
know, like you have always said in previous podcasts that it's bad when we have too many older leaders, especially repeat term leaders. And I believe Putin has been there. Oh, I mentioned his name, excuse me. Has
We'll
been
wash your
there,
mouth out with soap.
yeah, since 1999. So anytime you have somebody leading a government, whether it's North Korea or Russia or China, for so many years, it tends to have a fading of democracy. And if you look at Putin's name, Putin, that means he's taken the money from Russia, put it in his pocket. He has billions of dollars stored, like I said before, so that if he has to leave, he can just, or if he's exiled, he'll have plenty of money, for himself and his family.
Yeah, but where's it going to go?
I don't know. He'll
That's
always
my
find a
point.
hole. Rats always find holes.
That's a good analogy. I like that. I'm gonna steal that one. I may use that to talk about like a bad friend or something. We'll see.
Okay. So I think we could get a follow-up on maybe next an emergency podcast if we have to.
Yeah, well, if this progresses any further, we can always make a special. Normally we come out with one every 2 weeks. If this progresses, by all means, we can do we'll do a specialty one next week, following up on what's been happening over the past week in terms of this possible start of a war. I'll definitely do that. Yeah, well, we can do, even it doesn't have to be an hour or 45 minutes. We can do a shorter version or something.
Yeah, it could be a 15-minute podcast, 20 minutes.
30 minutes, whatever. Yeah, 15, 30 minutes, doesn't matter. But we can come up with one. That's actually, I like that. So, but yeah, for those who are not updated, you are now updated.
Okay. So now we're moving on to something I'm not familiar with.
This is something I came across randomly. I don't remember how. It was just something that I found interesting. It's called the Kava plant, or known by Pacific Islanders as the Kava. This plant is there's multiple things with this plant, but I'm gonna read it from where I found it, which is it grows and is consumed throughout the Pacific Ocean cultures of Polynesia, including Hawaii. I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Vanuatu, Melanesia, and some parts of Micronesia. The roots of the plant are used to produce a drink with a strong sedative and anesthetic properties. So this plant, it's a shrub. They take the roots and they pound it or crush it with a block or grind it with some stone, put some water in it, and then to get the water pulls the whatever nutrients, it's not nutrients, but the stuff from the roots, and then you pour that into cold water and drink it. It is used for various things. One specifically is it's a sedative to the extent of it's being used for pharmaceutical wise, it's being used for anti-anxiety. It's helping as an anxiety sedative. But what they use it for in terms of the Polynesians, it's traditionally paired by grinding, but the effects can vary widely depending on how much you consume and also the quality of the kava that you're consuming. Because if you're getting third-party crap that's laced or supplemented with other stuff, doesn't really work that well. But the low dose usually will just chill you out and make you kind of numb in the face a little bit.
Wonderful.
But high quality will fully suspend someone's mental chatter, it's called, for a long period of time, giving the mind true rest while relieving all held tension in the body. It can also create profound great rest and rejuvenation and sleepiness throughout the day if you take high doses. It can also be a euphoric thing. Traditionally, it's been used for acquiring inner knowledge and wisdom to learn about oneself. So think of it as a, excuse me.
Is it an hallucinogenic?
It can be. It has hallucinogenic qualities, but that's not its main purpose. It's more of a sedative, like similar to marijuana or weed. Fuck, I'm too young to be saying marijuana. Similar to weed, it can be hallucinogenic, but it is not innately hallucinogenic. It is more of a sedative that may have hallucinogenic properties. for Polynesian people, this website claims that it is drinking kava. It's similar to a peace pipe. It's reported that you can't feel hate after drinking kava. So it's usually used to help settle quarrels or begin treaty negotiations, political meetings, and business dealings. So, and obviously spiritual people will use it to access the spirit force within them and so on. But it's used for insight, perception, as well as political reasons. So I find that
the Kava plant. Instead, you know what? Instead of sending
Kava, K-A-V-A.
Instead of sending weapons to Russia, we should send them Kava.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's a good idea. We'll send Putin some Kava, drop a little Kava gas on him, and he'll just chill out. His face will get numb. His Botox will he'll start to sag a little bit, and he'll have to reshoot some in there, and it'll be good. So yeah, I don't know. It was something that I found on and I was looking at other plants, and I found the Kava plant, and just found it to be very interesting. And
it is interesting.
It's something that like I said, they're looking into in terms of helping with anxiety as a natural form, not just like medication wise, not synthetic crap, natural forms. They've found that it has helped reduce people's anxiety more than placebos, which means that it's actively affecting and doing something.
I think I saw in Publix Kava drinks in Publix. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you probably did. You probably did because it's very popular in the Pacific Ocean cultures to have it as a drink. As I've already, even though it causes these numbness and sedatives and stuff, mild doses are inside the drink. They're not putting massive quantities of it in the drink, but nonetheless, there's drinks of them. So
you know what the problem is in our society? You'll have people who use it for specific reasons, like you had mentioned, and then you'll have people who put 2 shots of tequila and a shot of vodka in it, and say, "Wow, this is healthy."
Well, I mean, there are like side effects and issues with it. Too much of it can damage your liver. Too much of it can cause other forms of issues. Oh, right here it says alcohol. It has been reported that combined use of alcohol and kava can have an additive sedative effect. Kava is when I talk about sedative, it apparently has shown no signs of cognition effects in terms of like alcohol makes you cognitively impaired. Kava doesn't do that, apparently. By adding alcohol, you basically double up on the sedatives and then add cognitive screwing and impairment onto your issues.
Does it increase your sex life?
No, it can actually do the opposite. If too much, a high dose of it can decrease sex drive because you are so relaxed that you become lethargic. You become so relaxed, so sleepy that it's not of concern. It can affect your sex drive. And it can also cause rashes as well if you have high doses. But
sounds like a wonderful drink, a wonderful thing to take.
Well, look, excess in anything is bad. If you have too many carrots, your skin can turn orange. I don't know do you know that?
No, I just ate so many carrots today.
No, not just today. Oh my God. No, not just today. Like if you were to incorporate in your diet an excessive amount of carrots because of a specific I don't want to call it a protein, but whatever it is, it's like a carotene or something, whatever it's called. Carotene, I think it's called. Too much of that consumed can cause an orange pigmentation. The same way, there's something as well.
Yeah, it's called the Bugs Bunny factor also. When you start walking around, if you eat too many carrots, going, "What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc?"
Yeah, sure. That's it.
Are you too
There,
young
but
for too young to know what I'm saying?
oh, I watched Bugs Bunny when I was a kid. What are you talking about? I got
Okay,
it. I understood. What I was getting at
okay,
was that, too much of anything can do
right.
that. That's like there's another thing called beateria where I forget what you eat. I don't think it's beets. I think it's something else. It's called beateria and it makes your pee red because something in that food causes the pigmentation
Mm-hmm.
of your pee to change.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it what all I'm happy about is the fact that it is a natural plant that apparently is helping with anxiety, but is also just a sedative in its own right in terms of helping with political. I love the idea that they're using it to solve political needs because they're not going to get overly excited and um they're not going to get in
Yeah.
over their heads and they'll be calm about it. It's like it's sort of the reverse of Greek democracy, where they would all, like ancient Greek democracy, they would just get inside a room, get drunk as hell, and then yell at each other until something was solved.
Yeah, sounds like most households.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I
No,
mean,
Jesus Christ has nothing to do with it. It's it's just the American way. You yell. Everybody has a mouth and two ears, and nobody listens. You know.
oh my God. So
Oh, it's
that's it.
true. Yeah. You know. I thought you were gonna tell me something interesting, like it creates nymphomania in women or something like
Oh,
that.
that's
But
the opposite. I could find
I
one if you want.
know.
I'll find one
I
for you.
know.
I'll
I
find one. I'll
know. I
bring it
know.
in. Next episode, I'll bring
Well,
it. We don't have to make a whole topic on it. I'll bring it in. We'll discuss
I,
it.
yeah, I know. I know.
Um,
So,
but
anything
that's all I've
else?
got. That's all I've got.
Okay, okay. We covered
Um,
three areas. Um,
if for anyone who's listening, let us know how you liked this format, if any, or if you like the old one better. I think this one felt a little faster and a little more fun. Um, because we had multiple things to talk about rather than one thing over a period of an hour. Comment on our YouTube, or we're on TikTok now. Um, or I believe you can comment on Spotify too if I ask a question. But if not, message me if you know me, like you have my contact. If not, comment on the YouTube. Follow, share, like, subscribe, do all the fucking buttons, and send it to your friends and family. And yeah, get us.
you're not. You're not.
We're gonna get a better following than Joe Rogan.
Oh, good. You're not going to ask me to dance on TikTok, are you?
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. When I come see you, I'm gonna have 5 dances or more set up, and that's how we're gonna get all our publicity for the podcast. At the end,
Sounds,
you'll turn around and lift your shirt, and on your back it'll say "Subscribe to the podcast."
hey, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I like that. Okay,
All
so
right.
I'm I'm just going.
Possibly
I
next
want to.
week.
Yeah, I want to say I hope that there's peace in the world, and we certainly have to be in a better place than we are right now.
I
And thanks
agree.
for listening. Thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
listening. Peace out.